Peace, my name is DAOUD ABEID. I'm an artist, first and foremost, teacher, reiki master. Black men have a big wall up. You know, we tend to, in order to cope with all that society deals with, historical stuff, genetic memory, if you get into all these things, to go into the vulnerable space is a very scary place to go. It's a slippery slope, it's a rabbit hole. So a lot of brothers don't even venture there because they're not really prepared to deal with what comes with that. It's a very courageous thing to do, and it's very overwhelming. So that's a lot of why a lot of people don't even want to deal with what they're dealing with, you know, because it's just not knowing where it's going to lead to. If I think about my childhood, I was always from home, but then even society, you're always prepared to deal with conflict. You're prepared to defend yourself. You're prepared, they tell you to walk a certain way, talk a certain way, how to interact and do things. So it's like you're kind of always knowing that there's like a danger that you're gonna deal with. And I think by navigating that, you just develop a level of hardness. You develop a shell, but in doing that, it's like I talk about the fact that I remember somewhere in my teens, I stopped being ticklish. That level of sensitivity just kind of went away. And I know with that, other things left that didn't come back till later, like when I started getting tuned for Reiki and things. I felt there was a whole rush of sensitivity that came with that. But I noticed for myself and a lot of my peoples, it's like your pain threshold kind of increases, but with that, you lose a certain level of sensitivity. You know, when your life is in danger, when you have, you know, friends being killed and things of those natures, and you still have to go to high school and you still have to function, you have to develop a level of like hardness, like closeness. You know, you're enduring things in this society, because all over the world people deal with crazier stuff, but here we tend to be the ones that face possibly going to jail, all the things that come with going to jail. You know what I mean? If you care too much and you're not in control, there's more of a possibility of those things happening. You know, so it's just like a lot of stuff that we have to. It's a protective shell you have to create. As I got older, like probably somewhere in my 30s, it started shifting. But when I was younger, it was necessary. You know what I mean? Like I don't think I would have been able to function if I was softer and more open. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I know it's just the things that you have to deal with as a Black Latino man growing up in the society, as a Native American person growing up in the society. There's certain stuff that you know, you have to kind of just get up and keep it moving. You know what I mean? And like, you can't do that and be open and soft and emoting all the time, because then you can't function. So it's a lot about, it's like I came to the realization in my 30s that I had PTSD. And I noticed it in all of my peoples too, you know what I mean? And we started talking about it. But it's something, that PTSD that I had was also normalized. Nobody really thought about it. Like, I thought about how like we would talk about violent shit that happened to us or violent things we navigated, but we'd be like smiling and laughing about it. You know what I mean? And other people would kind of be looking like, what's wrong with y'all? Like, how y'all joking about that? And it was like, then it was like, yeah, this is kind of weird. You know what I mean? Or having certain things happen and just kind of being like, whatever, like that's what happens. Like that's, you know, that's life. Like it's all a coping mechanism. I went to the same school from the time I was in 7th grade till I graduated high school. And I had an advisor named Herb Rosenfeld who knew me from the time I was young. And like, so he kind of like watched me, and he would be like, are you okay? You're dealing with, there was conversations about it with parents and things of that nature. I definitely was depressed. I didn't know that's what it was. It was just normal to me. Like if I look at pictures of me back then, like my eyebrows are always furrowed, like my eyes are smaller and closer, like, you know, it's more of like a stone face about things. But that was normal, and it was kind of like what all of my peoples were pretty much dealing with too. And the thing with me is, at a young age, I didn't smoke, I didn't drink, I didn't do anything. So I was just like dealing with it. Like dancing actually was my outlet. You know, when I discovered like the club scene and all that stuff, that's where I could be free and have fun and dance and release in a constructive way. You know what I mean? But like I have friends who had to smoke a blunt as soon as they woke up, You know what I'm saying? They were drunk all the time, they were high all the time, because they were self-medicating just because of the things that they dealt with, and that was normal. No one questioned it. It was just what you did, you know. And I didn't become aware of it until I got attuned for Reiki. Like, I'm like, I don't smile. Like, you know, I don't do this. I don't do that. That's how I identify. That's just what I thought. That's just who I thought I was.